All right, let's just dive right in. You've felt it, right? That feeling of time just evaporating, spent on things that don't seem to add any real value? It happens everywhere, at the airport, the doctor's office, even just trying to get a project done at work. Well, today, we're going to give this invisible thief a name. And even better, we're going to lay out a battle plan to fight back, shifting our focus from just cutting costs to truly creating value.
So check this out. Our source material breaks down a simple family trip to Crete. The whole journey, door to door, took 13 hours. But get this, the time they spent actually moving toward their vacation spot, only 7 hours. The other 6 hours, that's nearly half the time, was just burned. Queuing for check-in, waiting around for bags, and getting hit with the same questions over and over at different checkpoints.
And this isn't just about a vacation, is it? Think about it. A visit to the doctor. You wait for an appointment. Then you wait in the waiting room. You wait for a specialist. You wait for test results. It's all waiting. Or building a house, a process just filled with delays and having to redo things. So much of our lives gets swallowed up in these gaps. Well, this invisible thief of our time and our resources actually has a name. And learning that name is the first step to finally catching it.
And here it is. It's called muda. It's a Japanese term, a core idea from the Toyota production system. And muda is the official name for any activity that eats up resources, time, money, materials, but creates zero value from the customer's point of view. It's all the stuff we do that a customer would never, ever, willingly pay for if they knew about it.
The guy who really architected this whole system was a Toyota executive named Taiichi Ohno. And he was described as exactly that, the most ferocious foe of waste human history has produced. I mean, think about it. He was working in post-World War II Japan, where resources were incredibly scarce. Ohno knew Toyota couldn't just copy the massive scale of Western car makers. They had to be way smarter. For him, waste wasn't just some line item on a spreadsheet. It was an enemy. It was an existential threat that had to be hunted down relentlessly.
And what's so brilliant is how Ohno categorized this enemy. He didn't just say waste is bad. He broke muda down into 7 specific types. For instance, transport. That's just moving stuff around for no good reason, like a file that has to go through 5 different departments just to get a signature. Or inventory, which is having more stuff lying around than you need right now, whether that's car parts on a shelf or, 500 unread emails in your inbox. And of course, the big one we all know, waiting. Waiting for a machine, waiting for a person, waiting for the next step. Once you learn to see these 7, I'm telling you, you will start seeing them everywhere.
Okay, so just seeing the waste is a huge first step. But how do you actually fight it? You can't just run around randomly trying to fix things. No, you need a system. And the answer lies in a really powerful and, honestly, a very logical framework that gives you a clear path.
And this is the battle plan, the 5 principles of lean thinking. It's a step-by-step process that completely changes how you think about work. First, you figure out what the customer actually values. Then you map out every single step it takes to deliver that value. Then you make those steps flow, one after another without any interruptions. After that, you make sure you don't create anything until the customer asks for it. And finally, you just keep repeating the process, forever, always getting better.
Now, to really get the power of lean, you have to compare it to what most of us think is just common sense. The source material calls it batch and queue thinking. This is the old mass production idea. You group similar tasks into departments, like a stamping department or a painting department, and you work on huge batches. It feels efficient, right? But it actually creates these massive traffic jams where products just sit and wait. The lean alternative is continuous flow, where you focus on the product itself, not the department, and move it smoothly from one value-creating step to the very next. No waiting.
See, this whole batching mentality leads to one giant problem. You're constantly guessing. You're guessing what the customer is going to want weeks or even months from now. So you push tons of product out there based on these forecasts, filling up warehouses and store shelves. But what happens when the forecast is wrong? And let's be honest, the forecast is always wrong.
You get this, an absolutely mind-blowing statistic from the source material. Half, 50% of all books printed in the United States are eventually shredded and destroyed without ever being read. Now, this isn't some accident. It's the direct, predictable result of a push system. It is pure, massive-scale muda, a colossal waste of trees, energy, and human creativity.
A lean pull system just flips this entire process on its head. Instead of building giant stockpiles based on a wild guess, You design a system that's so fast and responsive that value is literally pulled through the process by the end customer. Simply put, you don't make a single thing until an actual customer has asked for it. This just eliminates all the guesswork and the mountains of waste that it creates.
And that leads us right into the fifth and final principle. Perfection here isn't some final destination. It's not a finish line you cross. It's the engine. It's the mindset of continuous improvement. In Japan, they call it kaizen. It's this deep belief that no process is ever truly perfect, and that the search for waste is a never-ending and totally essential journey.
And this table from the source just shows it perfectly in action. This company, FNGP, didn't just fix a process one time and call it a day. No, they applied these small continuous improvements, these kaizens, to the exact same part again and again for 3 years straight. And just look at those numbers. Setup times basically vanished. Productivity went through the roof. Perfection isn't about some huge, expensive project. It's about a relentless series of small, focused steps forward.
So here's the bottom line, the big takeaway. Lean isn't just a toolkit for factories. It's a completely different way of seeing the world. It's like putting on a new pair of glasses, a new lens. And once you put it on, it reveals this hidden world of waste that's all around us, in everything we do. And the crazy part is, once you start to see it, you can't unsee it.
So I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. Sometime in the next day or so, could be at work, at the grocery store, even just making coffee in your kitchen. I want you to take a waste walk. Consciously look for the waiting, the unnecessary movement, the extra stuff you don't need. Look for those 7 mudas we talked about. What are you going to see now that you couldn't see before?